MMPI stands for the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. In contrast to the NEO, which was about normal personality variables, the MMPI is a clinical personality test looking for mental health issues. It's probably the most extensively researched of all structured personality tests. In the original MMPI, developed by Hathaway and McKinley, they used the empirical method of test construction, in which they look at how questions differentiate people into one of two groups. As a result of using this empirical method, some items asked about things like your bowel movements and other things that you may not want to respond honestly about, if at all. Apart from not wanting to reply to a question like this, the MMPI items possess low face validity. And if you remember, face validity refers to the extent to which respondents can tell what items are measuring. The MMPI produces a profile of 10 clinical scales, and these scales were originally derived from the comparison to clinical groups. The norms originally based on all white people. Some items are dated and also quite offensive. That's why the MMPI-2 is a revised version of the original test. So it's based on a normative sample of 2,600 people covering a range of backgrounds. The MMPI-2 has a better wording and corrected grammatical errors in the original MMPI. The MMPI-2 consists of 567 items in which the participant is to respond either true or false. One of the good things with the MMPI-2 is that it does contain a lie scale, which consists of 15 lie items. So it can detect faked responses or responses that are slanted towards social desirability. Here are some sample items from the MMPI-2. Everything tastes the same, which you would respond as true or false. Or there's something wrong with my mind, which you would respond as true or false. Or whenever possible, I avoid being in a crowd. Or I've never indulged in unusual sexual practices, or someone has been trying to poison me, or I daydream often. As I mentioned, there are some lie items, and this is to test whether people are trying to appear more psychologically unwell than they actually are, or trying to appear more psychologically healthy than they are, for a range of different reasons. Here are some examples of lie items. I salivate at the sight of mittens. You would respond true or false. My eyes are always cold. You would respond true or false. Or frantic screams make me nervous. Or I use shoe polish to excess. Or the sight of blood no longer excites me. Or as an infant, I had very few hobbies. Or I like to put chameleons on tartan cloth. As you can see, these are fairly bizarre items, which even people who are quite psychologically ill rarely respond to positively. Anybody who responds positively to those items are likely to be faking their responses.